us in our call to worship this morning as one of our deacon care groups leads us.
Our souls proclaim the greatness of our God.
Our spirits rejoice in God our Savior.
God has done great things for us, and holy is God's name.
We seek to know a world where the high and mighty proud are put in their place right alongside all of us.
A world where tyrants and terrorists become harmless,
And those whose lives never matter, all matter.
a world where the hungry have a taste of plenty,
And the overstuffed know the gall of hunger.
a world where mercies have higher than cruelties,
And where the promise of peace cascades through every generation. The world is about to turn to joy. Let us worship God.
Would you bow with me in prayer, please? Our gracious God, we do thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for the joy of this season. We thank you for being called to the stillness of the waiting for the advent of the Christ child. Open our hearts and minds to follow you in all that we would do and say this morning, this day, and always as we hear your word proclaimed to us. Amen.
Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Love seeing everyone on this third Sunday of Advent, the Sunday of joy. Especially Katie Pope is home from first semester of college in Spain. Happy to see Katie this morning. So perhaps you all can tell from our bulletin cover that we're up to something a little fun and wild this morning, but I promise deeply meaningful. Our visitors are most welcome today. We're glad that you're here. You'll find an insert in the bulletin. We invite you to fill that out, place it in the offering plate when the ushers come by a little bit later in the service. Let us know how we can pray alongside you if you have any questions about Ravensworth or anything else. This morning we celebrate communion, which is just another way that our deacons serve and care for us, preparing our holy feast every month. This feast where all are welcome, every single one of us who are here this morning. And because it's Advent and because it's Ravensworth, we have lots of announcements today. So I always invite you to look in your bulletin, to check social media, to read the newsletters, check your emails, all the other ways that we try and communicate everything going on around here. You'll see that today, for supporting our the family that we are working alongside, that today is the last day to give a monetary donation towards the purchase of Christmas gifts. And if you're planning to purchase gifts, please bring those to Ravensworth no later than Thursday morning so they can get wrapped and on their way. And then I want to let everyone know Christmas Eve is next week, which is wild, hard to believe, still a week away, but our service will be at 4:30, and it'll be our candlelight service, candlelight or glow sticks for whoever might want them in place of a candle. It's always a really beautiful night, and hope that you will join us. We also have a really big thing happening this afternoon, and so I'm going to invite Phil to give a little intro to that. And we all just want to give a huge thanks to Phil and Russell and the choir and everyone who is involved in everything that will happen this afternoon. Thank you all for your leadership in this.
Thank you. We do hope you'll be able to join us this afternoon. 3 p.m. is the time that the program will start, but actually that's not quite true. The program will start with a prelude that will start about 5 or 6 minutes before the hour. We invite you to come and be a part of that. We will have a winds group, a wind quintet, that we woodwind quintet that will be playing, along with our two guest pianists, Barbara and Roseanne, who will be presenting a mini concert, actually. You'll hear a lovely suite of music from the Nutcracker Suite by our Winds Group, and then a couple of lovely four-hand piano duets. And I will say, if you've never seen four-hand piano before, make sure you sit on this side of the church where you can watch their hands as they're crossing and they're playing. It's quite the sight, and it's lovely, lovely music. That's all before the program actually will begin with 9 lessons and carols. We've assembled a group of, it started out to be about 25 singers. We've dropped a few due to illness, but still a strong choir will be singing this afternoon, about 21 singers. This afternoon will be led by John Baskin doing the readings, and the choir will be doing the carols. And actually you, as congregation and attendees, get to sing some of the Christmas carols with us. So if you always bemoan the time of Advent, when you're not singing the Christmas carols that you want to sing, this is your service. You get to come and sing Christmas carols before Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So we invite you to come this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and there will be a reception afterwards in the fellowship hall next door, so we invite you to stay for that as well. Thank you.
Everybody's going to get here before I will. Well, don't stop over there. Come over here. Come over here. Look. Oh. I'm a little loud. If somebody can fix that. What do you see? I want you to turn around. You see a lot of people here, for one thing. It's our third Sunday of Advent, so we have 3 banners. There's number 1. It says promise. Number 2 back in the back says hope. Number 3 says joy. And how many candles do we have lit? How come this one's pink? Can anybody answer that question? Where's Miss Leah? Can you answer that question? Yes, ma'am.
Today is the third Sunday of Advent, the Sunday of joy, and it's the Sunday known as the Rose Sunday Gaudete, and it has to do with remembering Mary, Jesus' mother.
So it's different. Okay. Now, somebody had to know. Well, what do you see up here? What do we got? An angel? And sheeps? And we got this little...
Easter bunny.
Where'd the Easter Bunny come from? If you weren't here last week, it came from Michael. And it's got little eggs in a basket and everything. And it came from Russia. And it was in their nativity scene. What have we got over there? I'm going to walk back this way, but you guys just keep looking. I want you to notice that this nativity scene is so cool because it sort of folds up. Can you believe it? Well, today is, our story has a lot of little parts. And one of them is that an angel comes along and says, Mary, you're going to have a baby. And another time the angel comes and says, shepherds, don't be afraid. She also tells Mary not to be afraid either. And then an angel comes along and says, you need to, well, the angel and the governor, whoever it was, who said, it's time for you to go to the city of David and pay your taxes. So here's Mary and Joseph, and they've got to leave home, and they come to town, and there just isn't any room in the inn. You're going to hear that a lot. When you're my age, you're going to remember little parts of this story, and that's one of them. Well, I want you to look in this nativity scene. Not only was there no room in the inn, but what happens over here in the stable? Come look. Let him get up here and see. What do we do with all those animals that rightly go in a stable? Scoot around and give everybody a chance to see. What's going on here? Is it stuffed? Well, where are we going to put Mary and Joseph? Because it says, because there was no room in the inn, they kind of meandered around town to find some place for Mary to have her baby and for them to stay, so they found an empty stable. Well, what do you think we need to do about this for today before we add our new people? Can we move these little guys? Do so. Move them out. Just move them anywhere. You want to come help? Just we got to make room for Mary and Joseph. Now I want to ask this question. Is there anybody here that was not born in a hospital? Where were you born? In your house, really? Sort of. Well, this is going to be his house. And Dot Murphy, you were born at home. My brother was born at home. The lore of the story is that he was born on the kitchen table, but my mother swears it was not true. So we have a story that Mary's baby is going to be born in this stable. So let's see. We've got to put these people. Who hasn't put one up in before? Have you put one up? Have you opened one? Okay, would you like to take one? And unwrap him, either one. You can do the next one. You want to take it out of that? You do it. You're doing fine. Can I help any? You're getting there. What? I tie funny bows. Okay, now remember, they're fragile. Clunk.
Yes, it's fragile.
Okay. We need to take, and that's Mary. Let's take her over there and put her in the stable. Okay. Did you want to do the next one? Take it out. Who's left? Ooh.
The baby's good.
You hope the baby, she'll be okay. Next year, somebody else is going to have to tie these bows.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. Did you make it worse about? Clunk, clunk, clunk. Fragile, fragile, fragile. We'll make it. All right. Take it out carefully. Can you tell me who it is? Who's left? Is that Joseph? Now, you want to take Joseph over there and put him in the stable too?
Yes.
Or would you like me to do that? Okay. You got it? Right in here? Now, who's left to come? Baby Jesus. We're also going to have some wise men. The wise men are going to come a little out of kilter, a little out of time, but that's what we'll do. Let's say a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for shelter, no matter what we call it. And we're thankful that Mary and Joseph found a place to be safe, and that we hope everybody, all the children of the world, find places to be safe. And we know that you're surrounding everyone with love, and you love us too. Thank you, children. Amen.
You're invited to read along with me if you like. I'll be reading from Isaiah 35, verses 1 through 10. The wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it shall blossom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given to it, the majesty of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord, the majesty of our God. Strengthen the weak hands and make firm the feeble knees. Say to those who are of a fearful heart, be strong, do not fear. Here is your God. He will come with vengeance, with terrible recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. Then the lame shall leap like a deer, and the tongue of the speechless sing for joy. For water shall break forth in the wilderness, and streams in the desert. The burning sand shall become a pool, and the thirsty ground springs of water. The haunts of jackals shall become a swamp. The grass shall become reeds and rushes. A highway shall be there, and it shall be called the Holy Way. The unclean will not travel on it, but it shall be for God's people. No traveler, not even fools, shall go astray. No lion shall be there, nor shall any ravenous beast come up to it. They shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return, and come to Zion with singing. Everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. We invite you to sing with us our next hymn. You'll find the words printed in your program. If you would like to follow along, the music is set to the hymn tune for hymn 165, Once in Royal David City. It's kind of a commercial for tonight. You're going to hear that exact hymn tonight. But the hymn tune is number 165. The words are in your program. Let us sing together.
This morning, as we come to our time of prayer, I always want to share a few things with the congregation so we can pray alongside each other. Gary gave me an update this morning that Sylvia is in Cuba, which I think many of us knew, for the 10th anniversary of the Christian Women's Network there. And she reported to him that things are looking pretty bleak in Cuba. There have been a food shortage. There's also been a gas shortage, so our friend Livio had to wait in line for 4.5 hours just to get gas in his car. The Christian Women's Network had to pause their visits because they were no longer able to go and get gas to make their visits to those who were in need. And so our Missions Commission is already working to see what we can do to help our friends, but just remember our friends in Cuba. And Sylvia gets back tonight, so I'm sure she'll have a more thorough report as well. Wanted to let you know that Tara had sinus surgery this week, and she's doing much better. She's still just recovering at home, Cindy has reported. And then also to let you know, Michael Catlett, who is here today, and Susan, Michael had a stroke this week, similar to one he had about a year ago. No impairments, he's feeling good, and we're so grateful to see both him and Susan this morning. So we'll have some moments of silence. You're invited to call your prayers aloud. I'll say a prayer, and then we'll say the Lord's Prayer together. Let us enter into the stillness.